I was speaking with my hairdresser last week and we were talking about something that stayed with me ever since. In the past, she had been on world stages, in Fashion Week, making serious money, moving through rooms full of people with enormous influence. And you know the world that she was in if you've ever watched Devil Wears Prada. Think that. And we were talking about speaking opportunities, being in rooms that expand you, and also the cost of opportunity. And then she stopped me in my tracks. She actually said, I don't want any of that anymore. She said, I can make a lot of money. And I do take opportunities occasionally when I feel inspired to, but she said she chooses the simplicity. She chooses being in the salon, helping the clients that she loves. And as she said it, she was putting colour in my hair. She set the timer and she walked straight over to her next client. And this woman's beautiful. She had silver hair, short. She reminded me actually of that actress from Sound of Music. And when my hairdresser walked over to her, her face just lit up. And I could see the both of them engaging. They were laughing. I was just in awe of the simplicity of it. It was the power of connection, touch, and just presence. Now, my hairdresser has a doctorate. She's also one of the smartest women that I know, well accomplished. And what I realized in that moment was true power doesn't perform. Sometimes it just shows up, sets a timer, and walks across the room. I'm Lisa Brandis, and this is Connecting to Spirit. So that moment with my hairdresser sparked something in me that I've been sitting with for a while. This question about money and about what we actually believe about it underneath all the strategies and all the income and all the goals and all the business plans. It dawned on me because here's what I've noticed in my own life and with the women that I work with is that we can do all the right things on paper, set the income goal, follow the plan to a T, build an offer, and still feel like money is something we're always chasing rather than something we're in a healthy relationship with or just open to receiving. And I think it's because most of us were never really taught to think about money energetically. We were taught to earn it, save it, spend it carefully. We weren't always taught how to love it or how to trust in it, or even to just see it as a business partner. So today I want to share some things that have shifted for me recently, not as a framework, not as a 5 steps to financial abundance, just as what's been real and true in my own life when it comes to money and the energy that we bring to it. So the first is that where your money goes is where your heart is. So the first shift was I stopped looking at investment through a traditional lens. What's the return? How long before I see results? Does this make sense on paper? And I started asking different questions. So how does this make me feel? And who will I become if I say yes to this experience? That's it. That's the whole question. Because where we put our money is where our heart is. And when our heart is in something, truly in it, we move differently. Time speeds up because what we're doing doesn't feel like effort anymore. We talk about it with passion. We find our natural narrative. We stop performing and we just simply start living, start being. So my hairdresser didn't choose her salon because it was the smartest financial move. She chose it because it was what is aligned to her right now. And that alignment is what makes her such a beautiful, magnetic person. You can sense it and feel it the minute you walk in that salon. And we are working in soul's alignment when we make decisions from that place, not from scarcity, not from what might look responsible, but from what genuinely calls us forward. So the second thing I want to share is about relationship. Money is not just a number, it's an energy. And like any energy, how we relate to it determines what we call in. So I started treating money as a partnership rather than something that arrives and then disappears. And I got kind of personal with it. Some women give their money a name, some create a visual image like an archangel or a figure that embodies what wealth and freedom and ease might feel or look like for them. something they can connect to every day and genuinely thank. And one of the most powerful practices I've used is simple. I take a piece of paper, I write down an expense. Let's say paying for a VA might be $300 a week. And then in the right-hand column, I multiply it by 10. So 3,000. And I sit with that number, not as a cost, but as what that investment is making possible for me. The time it frees me, the reach that it creates, the work that it supports. So every expense, every single one, you start to see that generosity and investment aren't the same as spending. They're seeds to growth. So I had an experience recently that was a beautiful example of this. I hired a new VA without a formal interview, without a CV, without any of the usual process. And I simply hired her because I saw the way she responded to a post that I'd shared in one of my students' groups, the warmth of it, the words that she chose. And I knew we had one conversation. Everything confirmed what I'd already felt. She'd been one of the best, and she has been one of the best decisions I've made. So yes, there's a synergy. Everything comes down to energy. So that's what it looks like when you make decisions from intuition rather than from fear or from logic. The people we allow into our money story matters enormously. So as empaths and sensitive women, it doesn't take much. One negative comment from someone we love, one raised eyebrow from a partner who thinks in terms of job security and steady income. Suddenly we find ourselves second guessing everything we felt so certain about just an hour ago. I've lived this. I know what it's like to have the energy of a decision quietly dismantled by someone whose suggestions are shaped by what they would choose for themselves, which might genuinely be security, the safe path, the job, okay? But that's not wrong for them, but it might be deeply wrong for you. Okay, you're an adult. You get to choose where you invest, what you build, and what you choose to become. You will also make mistakes along the way. I certainly have. And I've also made energetically aligned decisions that have yielded things I could never have predicted on paper. Both are teachers, right? Both give you information. And every day you get to start again with what you now know. So I want to share with you to choose your wizards wisely. The people who get a seat at your money table should be people who actually believe in what you're building. And I'm going to come back to my hairdresser, to that beautiful silver-haired woman whose face lit up, to the simplicity of presence. The most powerful thing I've learned recently about money and business is that it follows love. It follows alignment. It follows a woman who genuinely is in an element that people will naturally feel it when you walk into the room. And guys, you don't have to chase it. You don't have to perform for it. You just have to actually be honest about what you love and build from there. Bless your money, love what you're building, and trust that your internal guidance system, that feeling in your body that expands or contracts with every choice, is already showing you the way. I'd love to know what landed for you today. Which of these ideas is already alive in your life, or which one is calling you to try something different? Drop it in the comments. I love reading them, and I would especially love to hear from you. Thanks for being here. I'll see you next time in Connecting to Spirit. I just wanted to say thanks for listening today. We know there are a lot of podcasts out there, and you took time out of your day to dive into this episode, and I want to say thank you so much. If you'd like to learn how to become a powerful psychic healer and spiritual teacher, head on over to intuitivereiki.online and you can get started by taking my free quiz and discover your unique psychic gifts. Plus, there's heaps of course information, and you'll access a really great bunch of really helpful tools to support you on your path. We really want to see you build a soul-led practice that creates abundance, builds confidence, and the freedom to serve in the way you were born to. Remember, the world needs your powerful and unique teaching. I'll see you in the next episode.